Okay, so today I got somebody special to me. He is a mentor. He is a leader, and I'm proud to call him a friend. Guy Delcorso. How you doing, Guy?
How you doing, Johnny boy?
I'm doing good, doing good. You are pretty much New Jersey's favorite personal trainer. And but what's how we met was I had moved from New York to New Jersey, and I was looking for a gym, and I wanted some kind of gym with an old school feel. And you had one of the last, pretty much one of the last old school gyms left. I mean, they're still around, but not too many. But you had one of the last ones.
Probably, I think the only two left in New Jersey, or I would probably say, are Body Works and Diamond Gym. You know, Dwayne McDaniel and Mazin Ali, and then obviously the Mecca in New York, Steve Weinberger. You know,
yeah, but even
no,
his,
there's not too many left no more.
No, even his isn't really considered old. So when I think of old school, I think of like, you know, the dirty dungeon kind of like the Metro Flex. You know, even Steve's is beautiful now, which I get. You know, you got to change with the times, but
yeah.
And now you're pretty much like semi-retired. You have your little gym, that's what it's called, and you're also an ambassador for the NPC and the IFBB.
Well, you know, listen, I worked for, after I left my business, you know, I worked for a couple of different gyms. I went here, I went there. You know, don't get me wrong, I did what I needed to do. But then I realized that, I could probably do a little something on my own. You know, I retired, like you said, you know, and I started the little gym. And thank God, you know, it's been working out real well, you know, and I don't just train competitors. I train everybody. I mean, like housewives, people that just want to lose weight, want to get in shape. Actually, I picked up quite a few people from the old gym that came by. You know, they heard what I was doing, and you know what, it works. It's a 20 by 10 spot. I got everything in it that you need, and it really works. It really works nice. As far as, listen, I've been very blessed to work for, I guess, one of the premier fellas in this NPC IFBB, Steve Weinberger. I mean, I've been blessed to work for this man. It's I mean, I go all over. You know, getting ready now for the Olympia in October, the New York Pro, this pro, that, you know, and I've met a lot of people, a lot of good people in this sport. I'm again, like I said, I'm very fortunate to be where I am in the NPC and the IFBB, and I learned a lot over the years. You know, I learned a lot. I've watched, I paid attention. I do more expediting than judging. So you know, I get firsthand of what these guys are looking at when I'm on stage. You know, I try to figure out, okay, he's going to pick this one, he's going to pick that one, you know. And so it's educated me a lot. You know, it's educated me a lot. And I got to see firsthand look at the inside world of bodybuilding, the way it is now, as opposed to the way it used to be when I did it, you know.
Right. Before we get to your expediting, let's give your little gym a plug, because I hate when people plug stuff at the end, because half the time then nobody makes it to the end. So let's so you have what's called the little gym, and it's in Hawthorne, New Jersey. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on Instagram, GuyDelcorsonpc. Okay. They can go on that. I have two. They can also go on Coffee with Coach. I have Coffee with Coach Instagram.
Okay.
Or my email. My email is GuyDelcorsonpc@yahoo.com.
Okay. I'll make sure it's in the description when I release the video. Now, you train people, like you said, anywhere from anybody who just wants to lose weight all the way up to elite pros. How many people do you have as of now that turned pro?
6, 7, maybe 8. Maybe 8 people that I've trained that have come up as an amateur and got their pro cards. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I've had Angelica. Texera, come and train by me when she was living here in New Jersey. Obviously, she's in Texas now. I had Ashley Castro, Lauren, this other girl. I've had quite a few pros. I'm training Dane Chang, who's a classic physique pro right now. Michelangelo, who's a classic physique pro right now. So I do have quite a few pros. And I'm Heidi Schottmeyer just got her pro card, so she's training with me. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few pros here.
Well, you seem to do really well with classic physique, and women.
Yeah.
Especially women. You seem to do really well with women. Why do you think you do better with those categories as opposed to the bodybuilding categories?
Well, the truth, John, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Women listen more than men.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can't tell you no truer words than that. They listen more than men.
Okay.
You know, and they do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Men, you know, they always got, I switched this or I switched that. Well, listen, I didn't tell you to do that.
Right.
You know, like I had a guy tonight texting me back and forth, the carbs, this, that. I said, listen, Mom, I know what you're going after. You want a cheat meal. I don't believe in cheat meals. You ain't getting a cheat meal.
Right.
So, I'm old school. When it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm old school.
Yeah.
Cheat meal to me is maybe giving you more rice or maybe a little bit more potato. That's about it.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no pizza.
Yeah, and I know firsthand because you trained me for a couple of contests.
So you know how strict I am.
Yeah, it was torture.
Yeah, hey, listen, there's a fella who's a very dear friend of mine who's one of the premier coaches out there, George Farah. I'm sure you heard of him, right?
Sure, yeah, everybody has.
Me and George, we talk a lot. And we, I agree, and he agrees on a lot of things, our views. Mm-hmm. George has helped me tremendously through the cancer thing, has helped me with the diet, what to eat, what not to eat, stay away from. And I swear it's definitely helped me. But we believe the same thing. We don't believe in this. Well, I had another cheeseburger, the coach gave me another cheeseburger. Well, listen, I'm not putting anybody's way they train or coach down. I just believe you want a cheap meal, win the show, and then you can go have a cheap meal afterwards.
Yeah, right.
That's how I did it.
Right.
That's how George did it. That's how we did it when we competed. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not up on the Scientology of all of this, so to speak, as they say, but that's the way I do things,
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's talk about the way it was back when you started. Now, you started bodybuilding, the 70s?
My first bodybuilding show was in 1979, maybe. It was at the East Orange Y. Okay, East Orange Y. It was in the gymnasium.
Okay.
Folding chairs. We posed on the gym floor.
Really?
There was no stage.
Okay.
We had a black curtain in back of us that said the Orange Y on it in orange printing with a light bulb over our heads.
It's come a long way then.
There was no choice of music for your music routine. The guy just kept playing music the whole night. And it was just bodybuilding.
Yeah.
There was no men's physique. There was no men's classic physique. There was none of that. There wasn't even women back then. Right. They didn't even have, they had their own separate show. Okay. And that was my first real taste of bodybuilding competition. I came in 6th place. I just missed the trophy. So I guess I came in last, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. But
the experience was something that I wanted to do again and again and again. It was just amazing. Right. It was an amazing experience. But I'm going to tell you something. We didn't have step masters. We didn't have ellipticals. I didn't even have a bike in my gym. And what I did was I did a lot of running around the track. I did a lot of hills. I did a lot of stairs. That was my cardiovascular. That was our aerobics back then. Mm-hmm. We didn't have all the machines they have now either. But I'll tell you one thing, the physiques of the golden era compared to today's, I am not by any means downgrading guys like Rami and Phil. I mean, all of these guys are great Olympias. You know, they were great, but it was a different look. You know, it was a different look. It was, I don't want to say it was like the classic physique, but I think it was even better than that. Mm-hmm. You could see that it was hard work. Mm-hmm. You know, Arnold, listen, a lot of people are bashing Arnold for the way he's talking on Instagram and all of this stuff. Let me tell you something. When that guy went to the gym, he worked. Right. He put a day's work in. Yeah. He didn't just go pump up and like, you know, and that was it.
Yeah, and their workouts were different too, right?
Oh, their workouts were crazy. They were in there 5-6 hours a day. Wow. And then listen, they didn't have tanning booths or these liquid gold or, you know, all of these ice. They didn't have. They had to lay in the sun and get tan. We had to lay in the sun. Right. You know what I used? You know what I used to get tan? What? I put the iodine in the baby oil.
I never heard of that.
No, of course you never heard of it. How old are you? You never heard of it. I had to do that when I competed. Right. Yeah, and then we found the Diaderm, which was they used for burn victims in the hospital. Wow. And I would put that stuff on, and that stuff wouldn't come off for months. Mm-hmm. You had to scrub it off, but it gave you a good tan. Okay. You know. So now, listen, it's come a long way. Don't get me wrong. I think it's amazing how it's come bodybuilding to when I competed. You know what I mean? But you know what? Don't know. I wouldn't trade those days for nothing. Yeah. I wouldn't trade those days for nothing. The biggest, I'd say, probably besides, you know, working the Olympia and being on the Olympia stage as I do now. I mean, that's like a dream come true. But probably the biggest thrill of my bodybuilding life was when I got to go to the premiere of the movie Pump and Iron at the Beacon Theater. Really? I was 18 years old. Mm. I thought I was the biggest thing since sliced bread. You know? Yeah, right. And I walked in I walked into this foyer, and there stood Arnold and Ed Corney and Lou Ferrigno. Really? And all these guys, I felt like an ant. I thought I was an ant walking around.
Oh, that was cool.
Listen, I got to hang out with Ed Corney. Actually, I have the original Pump and Iron book that I saved. It's in mint condition. Mm. Cost me $7.95. I thought I got robbed, right? $7.95. Ed Corney signed it inside for me. And I spent about 20 minutes talking to Ed Corney, all about bodybuilding, all about, you know, his life in bodybuilding. Wow. And then I got to see Lou, Frank Zane, and Ed Corney pose on a circular stage, like it revolved in the middle of the audience at the Beacon. It was an amazing, amazing night. One I'll never forget it. That was probably one of the greatest thrills in my bodybuilding life, you know?
Before we get into the guys that inspired you, what were the gyms like in the 70s and the early 80s?
Well, there was none. Okay. It was in your basement. You worked out in your basement.
Oh, okay.
There was no, you know, Gold's Gym was it. I mean, if you had enough nerve to, you know, get in your car or take a plane out to California to go train there, that was the only gym that was really around. Right. Orange Y. The Orange Y. At the Orange Y where I competed, that was another pretty hardcore place. I started training there twice a week when I was like 15 years old. I had to take the bus from Patterson to go to East Orange to train there because that's where all the big guys were. That John Kemper, Bill Grant, Leroy Samuels. There was another guy there called Iron Mike. There was Lance Cooper. All of these guys were all bodybuilders of my day. Mm-hmm. So I would go there and I would try to learn. Mm-hmm. But that would take me an hour to get there, hour and whatever, a couple hours to work out. It was like a 5-hour deal. So I could only, and you know, to convince my mother to go there at 15 years old, that was like pulling teeth. You know? Yeah, right. But that was probably the only gym that was around then. And then they had like little key clubs, you know, they had little key clubs, stuff like that. But, it was nothing, you know, nothing like now. There's a gym on every corner.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Every corner you go, there's a gym.
Yeah.
You know, it's
What
not
kind
like
of
that.
what kind of equipment was it when you went to the
Well, most of it was homemade. You know,
Wow.
there was one guy there. He was a welder. He made a lot of this stuff. John, I am not kidding you when I tell you the dumbbells look like them circus dumbbells with the round balls on the end. I swear to you, that's what the dumbbells were we used over there.
Really?
Well, they, you know, they were mixed and matched, but there was a lot of them like that with the round balls.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Johnny Kemper worked out there. He was getting ready for the New Jersey. That's when I met him. Bill Grant at the time, you know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He took me in the place, showed me around. It was probably the dirtiest gym I ever worked out in my life, but it was the best gym ever. Yeah. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. That was.
Who were the bodybuilders that really inspired you growing up?
Well, I don't want to say I ever had an idol, because I really didn't have an idol, you know. A couple of the guys that stand out in my mind. Now you got to remember, I'm 66 years old, so I started this when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the guys that stand out in my mind are guys like that got me motivated into this were like Larry Scott. There was a guy named Freddie Ortiz. I don't know if you remember that name.
No,
he was out of Brooklyn. He had the greatest upper body. He was about, I don't know, 4 foot nothing, but he was just amazingly put together. Harold Poole, Steve Reeves, Bill Pearl. You know, Arnold, of course, Arnold. I mean, Arnold was an inspiration to every young kid bodybuilder, you know. You know, Franco, you know, they were all part of the gang, but they didn't inspire me like the guys from the original Muscle Beach inspired me. Mm-hmm. You know, Joe Gold, who Gold's Gym, obviously, was a Navy guy that was a welder, that him, Jack LaLanne and Joe Weider were very friendly. And that's where this whole thing started, with those three. But the people that inspired me the most were, you know, those guys. I mean, those guys worked hard. Freddie Ortiz had 20-inch arms, bro. Wow. And listen, let me tell you something. We all know that bodybuilding, you associate it with anabolic steroids and performance enhancements, right? We all know that. Listen, let's not say, oh, there's no such thing. We all know that. Right. But what they had then compared to now was nothing. Was nothing. I mean, I will probably tell you the most prevalent stuff that they used back then was Decadurablin and Diana Ball.
And that was it.
Maybe if they were lucky, they got their hands on some tests.
Right.
But that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. You know, I had a conversation with, God rest his soul, he just passed away, Lenny Boslin. He was one of the, I don't know if you remember that name, Mr. New Jersey, 1952. He was an MC for a lot of the Olympias. He knew all of these guys. And we had a conversation a while back about pre-workout stuff, all these things they take for pre-workout.
Right.
He said, let me tell you a story about Freddie Ortiz, he says. You know what Freddie Ortiz used to take before he worked out? I said, what? He had 2 shots of scotch and a cigarette. That was his pre-workout drink. I said, no, that's what he drank every day, he said, before his workout.
Wow.
Now they take, I don't even know the names of some of this stuff. You know, I just, it amazes me. It amazes me, the science of everything, how it's evolved. Yeah.
Oh, the supplement industry is exploded.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's insane numbers.
Huge.
Globalized.
Huge. Which I think is, listen, I think everything happening now in bodybuilding is great. I have nothing negative to say about any of it. I think it's opened the doors for so many people to make money, to make a living doing something wonderful that they love doing. I mean, think about it, you know, promoting and vitamins and this and that, and like myself, expediting and judging, and I mean, it's just opened up so many doors. And John, there's a contest every Saturday.
Yeah, it really is.
You can pick hey, I'm going to go to Oklahoma. You know, there's going to be a show there on Saturday.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go to this state and compete in this state. You can go wherever you want now and compete. Not like when I did.
Right.
What I did, there was maybe 6 shows a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe 3 were in New York and 3 were in New Jersey. That was about it. Yeah, it was about it. You know?
And like you said, there was only one class. Now there are, I don't know how many classes now between classic physique and men's physique. And
well, here, I figured it out today. Listen.
Okay.
I was having a conversation with one of the kids in the gym. There were, if you break down the bodybuilding, just bodybuilding now, and you go from masters to the open, okay, there were 8 categories. Mm-hmm. Masters over 50, masters over 40, masters over 35. Then you went true novice. Then you went novice. Mm-hmm. Then you went open. You figure it out. You figure out all of them classes. That's like 8 classes in one class.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
When I competed, there was 1 class open. That's it. Case closed.
Yeah.
You lose, you go home. That's all. You can't go in another class.
That's right.
You couldn't. There was no crossing over. There was none of that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was none of that stuff.
So just so people understand, there's 8 classes in one class, but the classes are for men. It's for men only. Is bodybuilding, classic physique, and men's physique.
Men's physique, yes.
And for women,
then in women, you got women's physique, women's bodybuilding, women's figure, women's wellness, women's bikini,
and fitness, right?
And, I forgot fitness. Yeah.
Yeah, and women's fitness. Yeah,
and women's fitness.
So when you do go to a show today, it is pretty much a 12-hour ordeal.
Well, yeah. If you have a lot of competitors there, yeah. Yeah, it's a long day. It's a long day. You know, it's a long day. It's a lot different now. You know.
All right. So what year was it when you first opened your first gym?
My first gym I opened in 1978.
Wow.
I opened it on Union Ave in Patterson. It was a key club because I had a job. I didn't think I would make any money in the gym business, so everybody got a key. They paid me $20 a month. Everybody got a key. I had about 100 members. My rent was $400.
And key club. Explain what a key club was.
So you get a key, and you can go to the gym anytime you want it.
7 days a week, 24 hours, just walking.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. It was right on Union Avenue in Patterson, and I started there. And then what happened was I got so many people that wanted to come because I was, me and this other guy, Belmont Barbell Club, were the only 2 gyms around.
Okay.
So that's when I expanded and, I started getting my gym bigger. But 1978 was when I started. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And from 1978, when did you sell the last gym you had?
The last gym I left, probably, I would say, last time I owned a gym would have been, I don't know, 6 to 8 years ago. Okay. Maybe 6, 7 years ago. Yeah. So, around there is when I left the gym business. Yeah.
So you're looking at, almost 40 years of gym
long
experience.
Time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time. Yeah. Long time.
And you always kept it hardcore, and it was always a community.
Yes. I tried to keep it like that.
Well, which most hardcore gyms were mostly like a community.
Yeah.
And and what's funny is today you have these huge corporate gyms. They're, conglomerates. They're enormous. And I see young guys and I see older guys, and they don't even have basic form down. Right. And it's like, just go on YouTube. Maybe you have it on your phone. But back in the day when you had these hardcore gyms,
I used to yell across the room.
Yeah. yeah, that's right.
Yell across the room when somebody was doing something wrong. What are you doing back there? I was like, what kind of exercise is that?
Yeah. And everybody learned from each other, and everybody knew how to spot each other. It was like a family.
But you gotta remember, that's the way I learned. Mm-hmm. Even when I competed back in the day, there was so much camaraderie. I mean, I would hang out with guys. He would beat me. The next week, I would beat him. But we were never jealous of each other. We were friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We were friends. You know, back then. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm putting anybody down or disrespecting anybody. We didn't have a coach. What coach? Yeah.
That's right. You never guru.
Well, I got to check with my coach. What coach? What do you mean you got to check with your coach?
Yeah.
We had to rely on each other to put this stuff on our back, the oil.
Right.
Right? You didn't know if the guy was going to sabotage you and put too much on your back. You know, you had to trust the guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I got to check with my coach. What do you mean you got to check with your coach?
Yeah.
You got to check when you go to the bathroom. You got to check when you eat. What do you got to check with the coach for?
Right,
you know?
Right.
It's different now. It's different now. But I tell you, I got to tell you one thing the MPC did, Jim Mannion, and I gotta congratulate him. He made the rules for coaches now backstage a little tougher,
Did he
a
really?
little steeper. Yeah, because if you want to be a coach and go back there with your client, you got to either one, own an IFBB card. You got to be a pro, okay?
Really?
Or you got to buy an MPC card.
Wow. Okay. So
It limits the people.
Right.
You know, when you have an area that's not so large for people to pump up in, and you got a coach for every one of them people,
right?
There's no room. There's no room back there.
Sure.
So this kind of limits it a little bit, and you know, I don't think the promoter's too happy about it, but I think it's a good move, and I think it's a healthy and safe move because now people have less of a chance of getting hurt back there too. You know?
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, it gets crowded.
Yeah. You know, you were at the smallest venue possible, Monmouth College.
That's right.
That pumping up room was about the size of an ice cube back there.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember?
Right. Yeah, sure.
I remember.
Yeah, that's right.
You won that show, by the way. I remember.
Yeah, I have the trophy. I have the trophies behind me.
I see him right behind you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Now take us to the expediting because that's pretty exciting. So many people are fans, and you're pretty much the head expediter, which means you're backstage. Well, why don't you explain it? Why don't you explain exactly what you do?
Well, my job is to make sure, first of all, we have enough expediters with me. Okay. You know, I'll take you through a real quick. I'll take you through what I do. I get there. We check the people in. We weigh them. We height them. We make sure all their paperwork is in order. We give them their numbers. And then once that's all done, we have a meeting, which I run the meeting and I tell them what to expect for the day and, you know, the rules and regulations. And then that's usually, I give them usually about a half hour, 40 minutes to get ready for the first class, which is usually Masters Bodybuilding. And then from there, we just, you know, we line them up. We bring them out on the stage. I make sure they're lined up where they are. You know, Steve will call out certain numbers. We move them around or whatever we have to do. Mm-hmm. And listen, these people have worked hard for months and months and months. What I try to do, what I have my expediters try to do, is to keep them calm. Mm-hmm. Keep them calm. Let them enjoy the day. This is what they worked for. Mm-hmm. This is their reward. A lot of these people aren't going to go home with a trophy. Right. But I want them to at least experience the whole thing in a good way. Sure. You know, I want them to say, well, you know what, I didn't do that well, but man, what a great time I had. You know, those people there, they were great people. And you know, fortunately, that's been the feedback with the Steve Weinberger shows and all the other shows and all the other promoters also, Sean and Maz and all of them. We try to put on a good show. And same thing with the Olympia. You know, you look at these guys as Olympians, let me tell you something. They act the same way. They're scared shit too. Right. Think about it. You know, they're there. They put a lot of work in. You know, they're scared shit too that they're going to go out on the stage and they're not going to do well. Sure. So, you know, I try to do the whole thing. I'm going to tell you a real quick story about Dexter Jackson. Sure. So we got a new guy that joins us on the Olympia crew. I guess about 2 years ago or whatever. Now we all know who Dexter Jackson is. Probably the greatest bodybuilder
Yeah,
that ever lived.
arguably, absolutely.
That ever lived. Okay, maybe not that many Mr. Olympias, but more pro wins than anybody. Okay.
That's right, yeah.
So now Dexter's there. He's laying down. He head on the gym bag, relaxing, right? So I got this ambitious kid who never worked the Olympia. He comes over by me. Now, my job was to get the big boys in line, okay? Because I got a pretty good rapport with most of them. I know them from all the years. You know, I know them. I judged some of them when they were amateurs, right?
Right, right.
So there's Dexter. He's laying down, and this kid comes over, and he's like in Dexter's ear. Come on, you gotta get up. You gotta get in line. This Dexter Jackson.
Right, right.
So I grabbed the kid like this. I go, come here. I said, do you realize who that is?
Yeah. This is his first rodeo.
Yeah. So he looks at me, he goes, yeah, but he's got to get in line. Bro, I'm going to tell you something. This is the Mr. Olympia contest. Do you really think Dexter's going to miss his turn in the Olympia?
Right.
Do me a favor. Go back over there. Will you please?
Yeah.
Stay over there. I'll do this. I'll take care of this.
Right.
And then Dexter, he gives me this while he was laying down.
Sure.
Got up. He was done in plenty of time. He was ready.
Yeah.
So expediting is somewhat okay. Let's try to get these guys in line without disrespecting those.
Sure.
They're pros. They're the elite athletes of our game, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be treated like that.
Absolutely.
They all should be treated like that.
You get a close look at these guys. We get a video or some pictures or whatnot. Explain some of the detail of the professional athletes that you see up close. Try to explain it.
First of all, let's start with Mr. Olympia, Big Ramy.
Okay.
I don't even know the word I can use to describe that physique.
Right.
Detailed, defined, slabs of muscle, and conditioned beyond belief. Dennis James, who's another personal friend of mine, told me before the show that he practiced with Big Ramy an hour a day posing. Now, as a bodybuilder, how rigorous that is.
Oh, God, that's the worst part.
Okay. So maybe some of the fans out there don't understand it, but that's just a tremendous stress on the body. Right. This guy did it for an hour straight because Steve Weinberger, who's the head Olympian judge, will have them guys pose until their tongues fall out.
Right.
Big Ramy never wavered, bro. Yeah. Never flinched, never shook, never sweat, never did anything. Mm-hmm. That's why Big Ramy won that show.
Okay.
He came in great at the pre-judge, but came in even greater at night.
All right.
Dennis had him right on. They are the only way I could describe these guys are amazingly superb athletes. Even the shitty ones are good.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It's true.
Even the guys that, people look in a magazine, let me tell you, in real life, they look amazing. Even the ones that place 20th and 19th and 18th, you're in awe when you see them. You're like, whoa, you can't believe that somebody can have that much muscle on. Yeah. This new guy, this Chul, this Japanese guy, I don't know if you've been following bodybuilding.
Sure.
Okay. He was at his first Olympia last year. Yeah. And he was kind of the talk of the backstage because, not for nothing, but I don't see that many Asians that big.
That's right. Yeah.
This dude is huge.
Right.
And if he was a tad better conditioned, he would have placed a lot higher. But again, he had the same problem this year in a couple of the pro shows. That's why he didn't qualify. But you got Bona, you got Akeem. I mean, Phil Heath is just, in my opinion, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but probably the greatest Mr. Olympia I ever seen. And I'm going to tell you only because of I'm talking about looks. I'm talking about muscle bellies. I'm talking about all the stuff that makes an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Makes an athlete.
I actually had a conversation with Sean Clarita, and he says the same thing. He says when you see Phil Heath up close, he said
he's flawless.
The insertions in his muscles are just deep between the muscle. It's something he's never seen before.
Flawless.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I mean, come on. I mean, the guy is gorgeous from the head to his toes.
Right.
His body is just, you can't, listen, even though he placed third, you still couldn't help but to you couldn't take your eyes off him.
Right.
That's Phil, you know. Now, listen, I'm not taking anything away from Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler or Dorian or any of the champions. Larry Scott, none of them. I'm not taking away from any of them. But this guy is, what does he call himself? The gift?
Yeah.
Well, he's gifted, bro.
Yeah.
He's definitely gifted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, for me, it's an honor to see these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, I see them up close. They're detailed. They look like somebody like carved them out of stone.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing the work and dedication that goes into these people. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Another one of my favorites, I got to tell you, is Hadi. I like Hadi Chopin.
Oh, yes.
I love Hadi Chopin.
Iranian bodybuilder. Yeah.
Yes, and I love his manager, Paulie. Me and him are very dear friends. But Hadi is just looks like a tank, like a tank of muscles. That's all. It looks like a muscle tank.
Yeah.
The way he approaches the stage.
Yeah.
You know,
a lot of great bodybuilders are coming out of the Middle East now. For the last maybe 5 or 6 years, it's unbelievable. They explode.
Yeah. They work hard. You know.
Yeah. I think it's the genetics. I don't know.
Whatever it is, I don't know. I'm just a lot of them are very good. A lot of them are very good.
It's absolutely. So now you're going back to the Olympia this year. What other professional shows are you working at?
Well, we did the New York Pro, where Nick Walker won.
Oh, that's
very, very impressive.
A lot of new young blood.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think Nick should do very well in the Olympia.
Yeah, well, he's doing the Arnold. Yeah.
He's doing the Arnold. We're not doing the Arnold.
Okay.
You know, there's some things going on there. I guess you know that, right? You know, Red Khan pulled out.
Right. Yeah, that's right. But
yeah, you know, and Red Khan's a big with the MPC and the IFBB. Okay. And you know, Arnold usually has him and Lorimer usually have their own expediters, their own crew. Sure. So we don't really do that. The next show we're going to do is an amateur show up in Poughkeepsie, but then it's the Olympia. Then I got a couple of local shows, and then I go back and do the nationals, and then the year is over. So, yeah, that's well, we'll do the amateur also. You know, we do the amateur Olympia too.
Oh, I totally forgot to even have an amateur.
Yeah, so we go. What we do is we go out there. I'm usually there for about a week. So I get out there on Monday, we check in. Tuesday, Wednesday's the amateur. Then Thursday is the men's Olympia check-in. And then Friday, Saturday is the big show. Yeah. And then Sunday.
I'll actually be there this year with the wife. We're going to go to the expo. And then,
good.
And then we're going to go to the Universal because it's in Orlando. We're going to go to Universal. And
well, actually, this is the first year my wife's going.
Oh, all right, good.
Yeah, she's gonna go. Maybe we can see you there.
Definitely, we'll see if we can grab some dinner or something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That'd be nice. Guy, I'm gonna let you go, man. It's been a privilege, really. And
oh, I'm honored, John. I'm honored that you asked me to be on the show. Thank you, bro.
Of course. Are you kidding? You're like I said. You know, it's an honor to call you my friend.
Same here, my friend. Same here.
One more time, how can people get in touch with you to either get in shape or get ready for a show? It's
you can go on my Instagram, GuyDelcorsonpc. You can go on my other Instagram, Coffee with Coach, or you can email me, GuyDelcorsonpc@yahoo.com.
I'll make sure all three are in the description area when the video comes out, so it's real easy for people to get in touch with you.
Thank you, John.
Guy, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and God bless. And say hello to your beautiful bride.
I will. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.